Wild boars that have become invasive pose a significant risk to agricultural systems as well as ecosystems. In particular, male pigs have the potential to do significant harm to agricultural production. Wild boars are a problem for people because they dig and degrade the environment of the soil, which in turn reduces the amount of food production. The majority of the time, however, they only enter farms when there is a shortage of natural food. Why, therefore, has their source of food been cut down to such a significant degree? This can be attributed to the increased utilization of agricultural land for the purpose of land agriculture. The degradation of natural habitats also reduces the amount of food that they have access to, which is the second cause. A male wild boar that weighs 110 pounds requires around 4,000 to 4,500 calories of food on a daily basis. For this reason, the third reason is that their weight also has an effect on the food source that they consume. Not only does their enormous weight place a significant amount of strain on natural food supplies, but it also causes significant harm to agricultural land. They do significant damage to the vegetation of farmers on an annual basis, which has a negative impact on agricultural production and the economy of the surrounding area. The adoption of the hog-foot snare trap has shown to be an efficient solution for inhabitants of Florida who are confronted with the challenge of dealing with wild boar infestations. They place a succession of these traps in quantities ranging from 5 to 10 each and every day. People choose locations that are places where wild boars frequently look for food, such as pathways or areas where they are likely to be found. It is necessary for them to make meticulous preparations prior to the installation of the trap. This includes inspecting and cleaning the area where the trap is situated, as well as eliminating any impediments that could potentially interfere with the trap. One of the first steps in the process of setting a trap is selecting an appropriate area and digging a deep hole in which to position the trap. After that, they carefully place the trap within the hole, making certain that it was securely fastened and did not move when a wild boar enters the area. People are required to perform routine inspections and maintenance on the trap in order to guarantee that it is effective after it has been set up. As a result of the adoption and careful maintenance of the hog-foot snare trap, residents of Florida have been able to reduce the negative impact that feral pigs have on their farms and environments while also maintaining their habitat. The preparation of the bait is an essential step in the process of finding and capturing the animal. The preparation of bait for the purpose of capturing wild pigs in Florida is a process that demands careful attention to detail. The majority of the time, individuals in this region make use of corns as the primary element. The maize is frequently combined with orange jello, which is a flavoring that is used to attract wild boars. This is done in order to increase the efficiency of the bait. Not only does the combination of maize and orange jello make the bait more appealing, but it also improves its ability to keep its aroma and flavor for a longer period of time, which makes it simpler for wild boars to detect and approach the bait. What has transpired is that the strategy described above, which involves the utilization of licking traps and bait, has demonstrated its efficacy in the management of wild boars. In 2023, there has been a considerable increase in the number of wild boars that have been caught in traps on a daily basis. It has been observed that the number of wild boars that have been captured has significantly increased as a result of the utilization of traps. The fact that this strategy is effectively assisting people in defending their crops and property from wild boars is a promising indication that it is working. Therefore, the question that needs to be answered is whether or not catching wild boars is the ultimate and most efficient method. Would it be possible for them to employ additional strategies that would be more effective in preventing wild boars from entering? Leave a comment below and tell us what you think about the use of licking traps to control feral pigs in the state of Florida. The usage of net traps, which are more efficient and convenient than iron traps, is yet another way that can be utilized to deal with wild boars. It is generally agreed that the net trapping method is more efficient, and one of its most notable characteristics is that it can capture a large number of wild boars in a single session of trapping. Due to the straightforward and speedy installation method, setting up net traps typically does not need a significant amount of time in comparison to setting up iron traps. In the beginning, people will set up nets near to huge fields. It is common practice to position lures near the middle of the trap, where they are more likely to end up being caught in the net. A significant number of wild boar populations can be captured each time they invade, which results in an increase in efficiency and a reduction in the amount of time and effort that people have to put in. What piques your interest about the operation of net traps? The activation of a net trap is often designed to occur when a wild boar comes into contact with the net. When that moment comes, the trap will automatically collapse, causing the pig to become imprisoned and rendering the net incapable of escaping. The net is typically held in place by the surrounding columns, which is a common component of this technique. This results in the formation of a mistrap structure that resembles a closed cage, which prevents wild boars from fleeing without causing them any harm. Even while there is some hope for controlling feral pigs by trapping, there are still a lot of obstacles to overcome. One of the most significant aspects to consider is the cost, which includes the expenses that are incurred while acquiring the traps, shipping them, and maintaining them. At the same time, Florida's rough and varied landscape also compounds the complexity of placing traps and maintaining them. In order to successfully carry out the process of trapping, meticulous administration and organization are also required. However, if Floridians are able to overcome these hurdles, they will be able to continue developing efficient techniques to control feral pigs and conserve the area in which they live. Comment number 1. If you are in agreement with the method of using a net trap, leave a comment with the number 0 if you think the leg trap method is useful. Baboons have become an increasingly dangerous pest in Cape Town, as evidenced by the fact that they have been attacking residential areas as well as agricultural property, which has resulted in severe problems. These highly clever invasive species are members of a close-knit social group that has acquired the ability to graze through garbage rather than foraging in their normal environment. Baboons have been responsible for the contamination of the environment, since they have left a trail of garbage in residential areas of urban areas. The destruction is not limited to rubbish. It also has an effect on the crops in the area. According to the Cape Town Wildlife Conservation Authority, the annual damage caused by occurrences involving baboons is estimated to be in the amount of $3,500,000. These assaults involve the destruction of crops, the endangerment of livestock, and the direct danger to human safety. How much more damage do we have to go through before we start looking for a solution that would protect those individuals who have to deal with baboons on a daily basis? The persistent danger posed by baboon assaults in Cape Town has spurred both the local population and the responsible authorities to investigate potential solutions to the issue. Using GPS monitoring technology and predator sounds, the city has built a program that functions as a virtual fence in order to prevent baboons from entering the area. Experts warn that this high-tech strategy is only a temporary solution and that baboons are highly adaptable, despite the fact that it has successfully brought some relief to the situation. In addition, the government has made investments in rehabilitation centers in order to assist baboons in reintegrating into their natural habitat. But are these steps sufficient to prevent further harm going forward? Please leave a comment below if this strategy has been implemented in your region and share your thoughts with us. Following the implementation of temporary measures, the authorities in South Africa are currently making preparations for a more direct approach to the practice of baboon hunting. In order to be successful in baboon hunting, accuracy is essential. Hunters are required to have enough training in the use of humane shooting procedures. In order to ensure their safety, they are required to be armed with high-powered rifles, binoculars for observation, and protective protection gear. Additionally, in order to avoid aggravating the baboons, hunters are required to maintain a safe distance of at least 150 yards. Baby baboon hunting is subject to stringent regulations in South Africa to ensure the safety of both other animals and human property. In designated regions close to residential areas and agricultural fields, hunters are only permitted to shoot a restricted number of baboons during the course of the year, with the maximum number authorized being 50. Furthermore, in order to ensure the continued existence of the species, it is imperative that pregnant or nursing females are not permitted to enter. Baboons are a major contributor to urban pollution, but these policies have helped lessen that pollution. Under the National Environmental Management and Biodiversity Act of 2004, as well as special laws imposed by the Cape Nature Provincial Authorities in the Western Cape, baboon hunting in South Africa is subject to stringent regulations. It is possible that baboons may be categorized as pests and will be allowed to be shot lawfully if they cause significant harm to agricultural and property operations, or if they pose a threat to human safety. There are serious penalties that can be imposed in the event that baboon hunting is found to be in violation of rules. These penalties can include fines of hundreds of dollars or the revocation of a hunting license. Therefore, before you start hunting, you should definitely think about it until you have a solid grasp of invasive species. While this is going on, South African farmers and governments are continuing to work on improving their approach by including education. Moreover, this provides an answer to the question of how we might cohabit with nature that goes beyond the boundaries of this invasive pest animal. Is it possible for farms in the United States to adopt South Africa's rifle and quota system for wild boar? Or will the possibility of such a transfer be complicated by cultural and legal differences? And as a result of climate change and the destruction of habitats, an increasing number of species are entering human lands. What are your most pressing concerns? Comment down below. We will respond to each and every one of your inquiries in the commentary area.